No, it didn't happen. Let's see. If I go to my, let's see, where's my settings?
Yeah.
Okay. It shows Wi-Fi connected.
Okay, then just try to refresh it.
Okay, I'll go back, try again. Nope. I pull it down and I'm keeping it pulling down.
Pull
Nope.
it down and let it go.
Okay, I let go. Nothing.
What's the issue? What's the issue? She's not seeing us?
No,
No.
no, it's the iPad.
On
Oh,
my
the iPad. Oh, okay.
the January 11th meeting isn't coming up.
You had it up already. You had it.
I
before.
mean, I worked on it Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and so let's see. Well, nope. It's letting me see January 20th, but now no January 11th.
Good evening, Vanessa.
Ah.
Welcome.
I'm going to have to do everything by memory, and my memory doesn't work very well.
If you have a computer up, Rebecca, you can open up another window.
How do I do that?
And you just go up to File.
Okay.
And you open a new window.
Okay, it says new Finder window.
Okay, so let's make sure that you're in your browser.
Well,
So click on, the anywhere in the webinar.
okay, what it gave me is just past documents. Oh, what's it? What used to be in my downloads?
Are you going to the meeting date?
Well, I'm going to try it again. I have to sign in again.
Okay, did we get most everybody? We've been having a little bit of an issue with our tech downtown. Is that right?
No.
Tamara has her hand up.
Yeah, Tamara is having issues with her computer, so that's why I wasn't answering Rebecca, because I'm trying to get her in.
You're doing what I do every day. It's just everybody coming at you from all the different sides, and the kids want help. Us kids want help today. Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, I have.
Hi there, Christian. Nice glasses.
So do we have our council members in here already?
Okay, we have Jimmy, Eduardo, myself, soon to be council member Vanessa Quiroz Carter, and Paco. No Lowell as of yet that I can see. I'll check. Maybe he's someplace and I can't see him.
No, January 11th.
Can you try going to the website and getting the agenda from there?
Well, the thing is that I have a hard copy of the agenda. It's
Okay.
all my notes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Of what I was going to talk about, and because I don't my memory doesn't work as well as it used to. So now I'm just going to have to try to remember what my notes say.
and keep trying, Rebecca, to upload, to refresh it and upload it and redo it.
I'm trying to refresh it. And
did you shut it all the way off?
Yeah, that's what was my next.
Because that works.
shut it off. Okay.
Shut it off completely.
Okay.
And then reboot from the beginning.
Oh, that's right. That has worked in the past. I'll try again.
Yeah. When in doubt, shut it down.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it works. I really do.
Oh,
Okay. So we were waiting for Lowell. Has anybody heard whether he's having trouble getting in, or are we all good?
I don't have any text from him.
Lowell has got his hand raised and the attendees.
Okay, I'll move on.
Okay.
And he was moved. Okay.
And we are here.
Oh,
And
thank
we
you
are
very much.
all here. Very good. Okay. I'd like to open the meeting. My name is Ari Parker. I'm the mayor of Watsonville. This is our fabulous Watsonville City Council. And I think we'll start with roll call. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Dutra,
Here.
Estrada,
Here.
Garcia,
Here,
Hurst,
Here.
Montesino,
Here.
Parker.
Here. Okay. Do we need to have a report out of closed session?
Closed session was had on the items on the agenda and no action was taken.
Thank you. Okay, then we're going to move to the Pledge of Allegiance. And if you would, join me. Give everybody a moment. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, we're gonna move to the next part of our agenda pretty quickly, and now a report of disbursements. We had that in our packet, and I hope everyone had a chance to review. Are there any questions from council in regards to that? Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Any clarifying questions from our council members before we go to the public? Looking for hands, don't see any. So we are now going to go to the public. In regards to our consent agenda, there will be 2 minutes each. All items appearing on the consent agenda are recommended actions, which are considered to be routine and will be acted upon at one consensus motion. Any items removed will be considered immediately after the consensus motion. The mayor will, that'd be me, allow public input prior to the approval of the consent agenda. So, do we have anybody that would like to speak to that? Okay. And who is pulling them up? I see
I
5
will.
hands. Okay.
So, Sophie, go ahead, please.
Hello.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi. I'm calling in about the encampment that you swept a couple weeks ago now.
Sophie, I'm
temporary
gonna
hotels.
Sophie, I'm gonna stop you really quickly because I'm gonna look over this. That is not on our consent agenda. And so the comments right now are in regards to the consent agenda. Unless I am incorrect, and council, you may correct me at any time.
so
Okay.
You're right. You're right, Mayor.
Okay, so thank you, Sophie, I'm sorry. But we're only discussing and having public comment on the consent agenda at this time.
Sophie can speak during public comments.
Yes, there will be time after this when we go to the next part. I'll make sure to let you know. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Gabriel, go ahead.
Greetings, everybody. Gabriel, former District 2 folk. And I just quickly want to say congrats, Vanessa. I can't stay for the whole meeting, but I love you and I think you're going to do amazing. I have to go to my next film class because I'm in grad school, and I'll be chatting up with you soon. So congrats, and we can't
You
leave
go,
our house.
Gabriel. Thank you. It's too bad you can't stay.
I know. See
We'd
ya.
like you to be here. Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Any other comments on?
I have,
the
we have
consent
Ellie.
agenda? Allie, you're gonna do it for us, right? On the consent agenda.
Yes, ma'am. I'd
All
like
right.
to comment on item 6F, regarding teleconference meetings and how
Sure.
important it is to make the move and to move all of our meetings online to promote accessibility and to keep our community safe. It is disheartening to see the inconsistencies in safety protocols, such as the horrifying photos that the Pajaronian published today of Zamora not wearing a mask and being sworn in person just yesterday. Just like today's meeting, that should have been virtual. It concerns me that these decisions to keep communities safe are personal and inconsistent. There is a draft action plan meeting on the 26th that will be virtual, but the city manager community forum for the 25th, the day before, is set to be in person. So both of these meetings should be held via Zoom. If these decisions are being made by the interim city manager, then I am even more concerned and see it as a clear conflict of interest. So I ask for equity, safety, accessibility, and transparency when it comes to making public health decisions for our community like this one. And I hope to see you prioritize our health and more and move all of our meetings online. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak to the consent agenda? And I don't see anyone else with their hand up at this time. Do you?
No.
Okay, so we're going to move back to the council. Does anybody have a motion in regards to the consent agenda? Lowell? Councilman
Yes,
Hurst.
I would move the consent agenda.
We have a second? Eduardo?
I'll second that.
You beat Councilman Estrada by a hair. Okay, so we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Jimmy? Councilman Dutra?
So I have a issue with 6F as well, and mine's because of the inconsistency. We were just publicly, back. I understand that a new variant came along, but a lot of other organizations are still having their in-person. So I'd be willing to go one meeting, but beyond that, we need to be back in the chambers. As you can see today, we're rough at this again. Not everybody was on the right side, and trying to navigate through our meetings. I think that they should be, we should be back there, wear our masks. We have our kids in school. I'm there every day with them. If they can do it, we can do it. And other jurisdictions are doing it. They haven't pulled out. PVUSD has not changed their way. The board of supervisors hasn't changed their way. So I'm willing to go this one more meeting, but when Omicron starts coming down, per how how they're saying in other countries, they're looking at those numbers, then I expect for us to be back as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Dutra. Councilwoman Garcia.
Yes, when we went to in-person, part of the reason was because there was a major technology upgrade taking place in the chamber. And so I wondered if there was a staff person to share with us what that upgrade was and why we're able to now go back virtual.
Okay, I'm not sure.
I'll try to answer a little bit. The technology change that we're doing is to be able to have hybrid meetings, not to have Zoom meetings. We can do Zoom meetings, and we were able to do them and continue doing them until the state expired in September. And at that time, it was the decision to go back in person. And that's why we went back in person. Right now, because of the increase in cases, that we have that recommendation to have this item for January.
But then what I was wondering is, in terms of the technology upgrade, has that been completed?
It hasn't happened.
Oh,
It's
it hasn't
gonna
happened.
happen in probably after you come back from your summer break.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
And
for
that, and that was to produce a hybrid. So we could do Zoom, people could attend Zoom wise, and they could attend in person. Because at this point, we don't have that opportunity. Okay, are there any other comments or questions by the council? Councilman Hurst?
Well, regarding item 6F, the teleconferencing of meetings, it's always a challenge whether they're teleconferenced or in person. And so I would just ask the public to bear with us and let's do, as we said, keep everybody safe. Regarding the next item on the agenda, it's 6G. This is recognizing the obligation payment schedule for the ROPS. This is the repayment to the redevelopment agency. Many people probably don't know what the redevelopment agency is or what it's done in the past, but I can assure you that Cabrillo College would not be where it's at today. The post office would not be where it's at today. The city hall would not be where it's at today if it hadn't been for redevelopment and a whole bunch of other things that happened in downtown. It's too bad that the state clawed back the redevelopment monies. We could still use those, and it was an interesting time back there when we did have resources, and I'm glad our budget is balanced now, but we do have to pay up and recognize our obligations. So let's move forward.
Thank you, Councilman Hurst. Are there any other comments from council? All right, let's move the motion then.
Dutra,
Yes.
Estrada,
Aye.
Garcia,
Yes.
Hurst,
Aye.
Montesino,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes. Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. We have no items removed from the consent agenda, so we're moving to an exciting time here, even here online in a virtual world. We are moving to number 8, oath of office to our newly elected council member, Vanessa Quiroz Carter, and it will be administered by Sandra Quiroz Carter. And the relationship there is that your mother?
Her mother, yes.
Bienvenido. Okay, so I'll turn it over to B, our city clerk, and she'll give direction.
Vanessa, if you can go ahead and I think you have your camera on, so you just need to start. And is your mom ready?
You want to say something so we can do a quick sound check? I can't hear you.
Oh, there you are. We can't hear you, Vanessa.
We can't hear you. That's better.
I think.
Say hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
We can
Turn
hear
it
you
up
now.
as much as you can. That'd be great. Okay, we can't hear you.
Get a little closer to the.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
There you
That's
are.
good.
Okay.
I, Vanessa Quiroz Carter, do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations. Thank you. Okay, so we have now seated Councilwoman Quiroz Carter. And she will be a part of this council as we move on to presentation. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. Comments. So we have time for some comments from our newly elected council member. Vanessa, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. Good evening. I am honored to be here representing District 2. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the work that has been done by former council member Aurelio Gonzalez, and I will continue where he left off. As we look forward to the work ahead of us in 2022, it's important to also acknowledge the fear, uncertainty, and loss we've endured over the past few years. The fight against COVID-19 continues. We must follow guidelines, receive and promote vaccinations, practice social distancing, and most importantly, we must show each other empathy, grace, and kindness. These are dark and trying times for us all, and these times will not last forever. We must remember that even in darkness, light and joy can be found in the little everyday things. So much of that light and joy comes from each other, from our neighbors, the care and concern that they show towards one another, and the culture of civic participation unique to Watsonville. We are not a city divided. Our diversity of opinions and views is not a symptom of division. It is the cornerstone of our democracy. It is our responsibility and pleasure to welcome those voices, to seek out that diversity, and build a thriving community of engaged community members. I am humbled by the opportunity to serve our community, and I look forward to working with my fellow council members, city staff, and community members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and now you can join us for the presentation and oral communications. This time is set aside for members of the general public to address the council on any item not on the council agenda, which is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. No action or discussion shall be taken on any item presented, except that any council member may respond to statements made or questions asked, or may ask questions for clarification. All matters of an administrative nature will be referred to staff. All matters relating to council will be noted in the minutes and may be scheduled for discussion at a future meeting or referred to staff for clarification and report. And we will, please, if you would, announce your full name and if you what district you're in. And we would appreciate knowing who you are. And as our new councilwoman Vanessa Quiroz-Carter just said, to see who is engaged and a part of the community, you'll have 2 minutes. And can we make sure that Sophie gets in there at the beginning if she's around? Sophie, are you still around? Because this is where you would talk.
Okay, okay, I'll have her speak first.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Sophie.
Hi there.
We're not quite getting you, Sophie. No.
Not yet.
No. Can we come back to you, Sophie? Because something's yeah, you're skipping.
Yeah.
And I'm old when I
As
say
I
this. You're
was
skipping like a bad record.
saying
Yeah.
Before I call, can you hear? Oh, shoot. Can you hear me?
Now we can
yes.
hear you. In this moment, yes.
Is that
It's just you know, when it quavers, it was in that moment. Now we're back to the quavering again. I know. You want us to come back to you? You got it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Steve.
Welcome, Steve.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, first of all, Vanessa, I am thoroughly delighted you're on City Council. I was the first person to endorse you in the Watsonville Pomeranian announcement, and I proudly gave you $50 for your campaign. We need more women. We now have a woman as our city attorney and a woman as our city manager. And gentlemen, what you need to recognize how important this is for equity and for the advancement of our community. Women must have an equal role in all decision-making to have a city that is progressive and lives in the 21st century. So Vanessa, I'm warmly welcome you. Your influence is very much needed, and we're delighted to have you. Now, turn to another subject from my second minute of presentation. I'm very disturbed by the organic farm being basically booted by the airport. Folks, we have too many sprays that are toxic. The last thing we need to do is boot an organic farmer who's making progress, whether it's on airport land or anywhere else within the city jurisdiction. We need to encourage organic farming, be rid of toxic sprays. As you all know, I came to you a few weeks ago about the toxic situation at the Elbar Ranch, which is the very edge of the city in southeast Watsonville. And I've already contacted Assemblyman Robert Rivas, my dear friend, about legislation to get people like whoever was doing the spraying in Elbar Ranch not to spray people who are walking beside their property. It's very important in order to reduce the cancer rate, which is sky high. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Steve. And remember, I'm a woman too, and I'm the mayor.
Yes, I know. We know. Yeah, happy New Year.
Thank you, Steve.
Citlali,
Go ahead.
Citlali, you're next.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, Citlali here. District 2, congratulations, Vanessa. Just want to start off by congratulating you. I'm looking forward to, working with you in the future. And I am a constituent of yours since I am from District 2. So I also want to address the issue of the people who are being displaced here in town. I know that the city did provide some sort of support, but we, are back at square one. They no longer have the vouchers for the hotel rooms. We are back at square one, and the residents are continuing to be harassed and displaced by law enforcement. After the vouchers expired, we have not heard anything from the city. And so my question to the city council members is, what are we doing as a city to truly address this issue of houselessness? We cannot continue to force people out when proper resources are not being offered to folks. It is extremely inhumane. It is expensive for this group of volunteers to continue helping to relocate people when they are being forced out with no other options of where to go. The shelters here in town are completely full. Some of these shelters force religion upon folks, and that does not make people feel comfortable sometimes. And so we really need to start thinking seriously about what we're doing as a city to address this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And who do we have next?
We have Jessie.
Jessie.
Go ahead, please.
Hello. I want to say congratulations to Vanessa. I'm really excited that you're part of City Council now. And I also wanted to make a comment about the homeless encampment that was swept. I went to visit family for winter break. And so when I came back and while I was gone on social media, I saw about it getting swept. And I came back and then I just see the fence and it's just like heartbreaking really. And like somebody else just said, having to like keep raising money for the volunteers is hard to help. Like they're really just trying to help these people. And there was a center that had it like people were funded a bathroom. There was volunteers cleaning up garbage. And it's sad. And I don't know what else to say except that like I'm just disappointed and I wish that we could come up with like better long-term solutions. So I mean we have to do more about affordable housing in the first place, but also like can we not displace people constantly? Like what is the point of that? You're just making their lives harder and they already don't have much. Like if you were in that situation, how would you feel? And yeah, that's all I have to say. And if there's a way to maybe, I don't know, offer them like temporary jobs or something. There are other cities that have models for how they've gotten homeless people like at a stable place, like, I don't know, if, like miniature homes or like maybe just open up another shelter that it like if religion's an issue that like doesn't push religion onto people. Like how's the money that the city gets for homelessness being used? I would like more transparency on that. If we could have like a meeting on that where you guys present like what is being done, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Yessi. And our next speaker.
Bernie, go ahead, please.
Buenas tardes, good evening, Mayor, City Council. So a few things, but first, congratulations, Vanessa, coming on board to the City Council. Looking forward to the many great things that you will do. Happy New Year's, y'all. I hope y'all had a great winter break, been, in presence of your loved ones and everything. So, yeah, I just want to say, regarding this homeless epidemic going on, I don't know if this city council is in conversation with the board of supervisors. I know that there's Project Home Key. I don't know if it's beginning. It's in the matrix already going on, right? But that's an opportunity to have those conversations and bring those resources down to the city. Also, just thinking about, we're coming into the third year of the pandemic. The new year, and it's thinking about how we're going to do things a little bit different, how we're going to do things better than last year, understanding that we've been under so much stress and pressure. We might not agree with our views or talking points, right, or conversation, dialogue, but that's something that the community and the city council needs to continue to to support and foster. So just with that being said, I'm looking forward to having these conversations with each and every one of you as the year goes by, and looking to see how we can create meaningful change and continue the good work that I know that the city council can do. Again, congratulations, Vanessa. I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to remind everybody to, if you'd state your full name and tell us where you, what district you live in. And if you're not sure, you can just let us know. We'll let you know.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so my name is Ricky Carmona. I'm actually one of the people that was living in the homeless encampment. And honestly, I was just wondering that you guys lie a lot. You guys lie and say that you guys are providing us with healthcare services and providing us with food when we have not got one single piece of help from you guys. Everything has been coming from the volunteers that have been helping us out, spending their time doing it just because they have good hearts. And I think you guys should really, I think you guys should better yourselves and actually do something to help us, because you guys are making it worse for us and yourselves. You have us moving around everywhere when you guys kick us out of somewhere and you guys know that we're just going to relocate somewhere and the whole process is going to start over. But you guys are just so stuck up. You guys just want to kick us out. Like that's actually really stupid to me, because you guys are not solving anything. If you guys really want to solve something, get us into permanent housing. Help us out. Do your job. You guys are not doing it. You guys don't know how to. I really don't know what you guys are doing for the city, because you guys can go build something new at the park, go spend money on a bunch of other shit that we don't need here in the city, but you guys want house homeless people who need homes. That's really messed up, because you guys don't understand, because you guys have a roof over your head, and that's really selfish of you guys. I think you guys need to do your job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
speaking.
bye.
And we have another speaker.
Yes, Jessica, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Hi, my name is Jessica Carrasco. I just wanted to call in and say that I'm very happy for you, Vanessa. Congratulations. And thank you for taking this position. I'm looking forward to working with you. And we're very fortunate to have someone like you on council. Thank you for stepping into this position. I'm looking forward to hearing your voice in this council, and it definitely warms up my heart to see you there. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you. And
We
if you
have-
would, everyone, please remember, state your name and let us know what district you're in, so we know who we're talking to, and our council members can respond at a later time.
We have Sophie, but I believe she already spoke.
No, she didn't
Oh,
quite get it
yes.
out. Remember, she had the tech stuff.
Yes.
There
Okay,
we
go
go.
ahead. Go ahead, Sophie.
Hi. Am I clear now?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So yeah, I'm also calling in about the city's activity around the encampment and continuing to push people out. One of the things
I'm sorry, what's your whole name? And
Oh,
what's your
my name's
district?
Sophie.
Thank you.
Sophie Bassett. I live in Santa Cruz. I've been working in part of community in Watsonville for about, I don't know, over 7 years now.
Okay, thank you.
So I noticed that when the lot was cleared, and as the previous caller said, there was a fence put up, and more recently there has been some areas, public areas, where signs have been put up and parking has been blocked. The signs say overnight camping is only permitted in public areas specially set aside and clearly marked for public camping purposes. I'm just wondering where that is, where it is that folks are able to exist. As people have previously said, shelters are completely full in a way that's unprecedented from what I understand, even now. And we're in an Omicron surge, the highest number of cases in the county, the entire pandemic. It's an incredibly important issue for everyone's health and safety, especially people who are going through the exhausting physically and mentally issue of having to move constantly and figure out where to go next. People need stability, and they need a safe shelter. So I'd like to know what options the city
Thank you.
will be having going forward.
Thank you very much, Sophie, and I'm glad you got your tech so you could speak to us. Thank you very much.
Surya?
Hi, my name is Surya Rodriguez, and I believe I'm in District 1. Well, first of all, I want to say to Miss Quiroz, Miss Vanessa, that I'm so happy that you're finally a councilwoman. She was my teacher in Seba. Hopefully she remembers me. She was such an amazing teacher. I can only imagine the things she'll do as a councilwoman. So y'all are so lucky to have her, like literally so lucky. I only have a minute left of my lunchroom break, so I probably won't say much, but I do really want to touch and highlight on the houseless people and how they're always being, how they're continuously being displaced. I believe their name was Ricky. I didn't know that, and I actually made my blood boil that you guys are constantly lying to them, telling them that they're gonna get vouchers, and honestly, I can't even talk because that's how angry I am, and I can't really say much because I'm at work, and I wish I had the time to honestly actually use my time up the way that it's supposed to be used up. But I just really wanted to chime in and actually tell you guys that you need to start figuring out where you're going to place these people, because at the end of the day, they're people. Just because you guys have homes and roofs over your heads doesn't mean that other people won't. And it's really saddening to hear that they're constantly being lied to, because I can only imagine things for them getting, or thinking that things are getting better for them, and only to get slapped in the face, especially by the city of Watsonville. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a lot of time. I wish I had more. That way I can tell you guys how it is, but unfortunately I don't. So thank you. And once again, Vanessa, I love you. You're an amazing teacher, and I can't wait to see you do more in Watsonville. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our next speaker is?
Edgar, go ahead.
Buenas tardes, good evening, everybody. My name is Edgar Ernesto Ibarra Gutierrez. I am a longtime resident of District 2. I met most of y'all before, when I can say that, but I just want to come in here and congratulate Mosquitoes for being elected. It's you know, me and my family, all of us, we really support what you do and you stand for. And my mom especially, she was really happy and ecstatic. So for you to see that you got elected. So just really just want to start off with that, but I also want to kind of like a call to action for all y'all, even starting like quote unquote this new year. You know, I think it's an opportunity to pull in resources to really try to find solutions for all these big problems that, you know, plague our community and different communities throughout the nation and the state, and see what we really can come up with. I think I've said this before multiple times. Our imagination is boundless, our creativity is boundless, and I believe that we can figure out and come up with solutions that haven't been thought of yet, but we got to work together. My mom says, platicando se arreglan las cosas. By talking, we can fix things, you know, and that's the first part of it. So if we can't get together and we can't have a dialogue, and everybody just wants to go to their corners and have their own preconceived notions of what we stand for, what we are, or because you're a millennial, you're a baby boomer, you're young or older, we're not going to get nowhere. So we got to figure it out. Even if we don't see eye to eye, even if we don't like each other, it's not about us. It's about everybody. It's about the next generations, the next 7 generations and the 7 before. We got to figure it out, whether we like it or not. And all them folks out there struggling with housing, everyone is. And we got to figure it out for them. We got to figure out for their kids, our kids, and everyone else is going to come. So just really want to urge y'all and pressure y'all to really think about things like that, because it's not just an election thing. It's not something that's going to happen in 2-3 years, something that's we should be working to happen tomorrow and for the years to come. So I just want to say that much, and I wish you all a good night.
Thank you, Edgar. And our next speaker is?
Ellie, go ahead.
Ellie?
Hi, my name is Ellie and I live in District 7. I would like to say congratulations to Councilwoman Vanessa Quiroz Carter. It's been inspiring to see you run such a graceful, inclusive, and empathetic campaign, and I am filled with joy to see you take this seat. I'd like to thank the 5 city council members that endorsed and supported Vanessa during her campaign. I saw you out there walking with her, Lowell, and I am here for it. I look forward to seeing you all collaborate in the future. Vanessa showed up to the warming center and supported our unhoused community the first day we asked for donations. I know, Paco, you showed up as well, but we simply need for y'all to do more. The way the situation is being quote unquote dealt with, it's heartless. And I understand that that's Tamara's MO, but city council, y'all need to come together and intervene. There's no space in shelters. Disabled people are not welcomed. Families are separated. Displacing everyone and putting up that fence was just you trying to put it out of sight, out of mind. But Watsonville has a huge unhoused community, whether you can see them or not. And frankly, with the gentrification and the ridiculous rents, the problem can only get worse. You need to take drastic action now. There was a discussion of buying land for our unhoused at the Board of Supervisors meeting today. I'd like to see that in Watsonville. We need services, not 5-day hotel stays. We need to invest into our community, not offer 10-day vouchers and then cut that in half the week of Christmas. Tamara, that was low, and that's the lowest I've seen you go. Let's make better choices for our community this year, please. And Jimmy, just real quick, PBUSD has rapid tests. The Board of Supervisors have virtual meetings as well. It is selfish and unsafe to think that you
Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments. All right, we have one more speaker.
Karina, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Karina Moreno and I live in District 5. I just want to congratulate Vanessa Quiroz Carter on accepting this position and responsibility. I want to say you are so amazing and you inspire me. Welcome to Samantha Zettler. And I would also just like to extend an invitation to all city council members to have a conversation with us at Families in Transition, one of the nonprofits helping the homeless, who has been helping the homeless community in our county for 29 years. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Karina. Are there any other speakers?
I don't see anyone else.
Okay. Then we'll move on to oral communications from the council. Let's go the other way. Councilman Dutra.
Thank you. Good. Welcome. Happy New Year, everybody. It's good to be back. 2022. I know that I feel like we're going backwards a little bit, but hopefully it won't be for too long. But we are, continuing. We're trying to do the best we can. So I appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to all the teachers and the classified workers and everybody who went back to the classroom. I know it's been tough, and I want to say thank you for being there for the kids. Congratulations, Council Member Quiroz Carter. Welcome aboard. We are very excited to have you, and we look forward to working with you. And it's definitely a learning process. I remember when I first got on, and you'll learn a lot, and you'll learn fast. So thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I also wanted to say that I had the opportunity to meet with Councilwoman Zoe Lofgren and her staff. She is we went over important issues in our community. I discussed the levy with her and affordable housing and issues that are facing us here in our community. She and her staff seem very open to the needs of our community. I also did tell her about our legislative breakfast, so hopefully she will be a part of that. She doesn't take over until after the election, but she is excited to be here and representing the Parole Valley. And Councilmember Garcia and I will see her this weekend as well, so we will continue that conversation. It was great to see PVPSA have their Soup for a Cause. I'm always out there supporting our kids, and also being a part of Loaves and Fishes over the holidays, helping to continue to serve our community who are in need and hungry. Finally, I did the Parole Valley Unified School District bus tour and saw all the upgrades to many of our schools and locations. Tomorrow, there will be a presentation of the EA Hall Field, 3:30 to 4:30, Thursday, 3:30 to 4:30, and hope you can go out there and see that beautiful field that has been built at EA Hall.
Thank you, Councilman Dutra. Councilman Estrada.
Sorry, Mayor. Thank you. I just want to thank everyone, the members of the public that are joining us tonight, those that have spoken. Thank you to each of you for sharing your thoughts. I want to wish everyone a happy 2022. It sort of feels like we dragged a little bit of 2021 already into 2022, but I'm hoping that, hopefully as the year goes on, things get better for all of us. I'm not sure if I did this at the last meeting, but I just really wanted to Jimmy Dutra for his year of service. For those of us that had the opportunity to be a mayor, it's great responsibility. I saw him go out and about. He was everywhere. He really worked hard. So thank you for your service, Jimmy. And I want to congratulate not only Vanessa Quiroz Carter, but I also want to congratulate newly appointed Chief Zamora and Mayor Ari Parker for all their hard work, all their sacrifice. And I just want to say that to each of you, I wish you great success. And I mean that in all honesty, because I really do believe that if each of you have great success in your roles, and collectively as a community, we'll experience great success. So I hope each of you, continue to sort of, I know that each of you see the world differently. I know that you all have diverse lived experiences, and you're sort of guided by your own set of values, but I don't that each of you love this community. You're from this community. You grew up in this community. And so, my hope is that each of you will continue to strive to do more, to be better, to continue to listen to the community, to communicate with each other. And as Edgar sort of said a little while ago, continue to work for the future of Watsonville. So thank you to each of you. Thank you to everyone who's on here today, serving or participating. And I'm looking forward to a really positive 2022. I think we need to support and change some things in the community. So thank you, Mayor. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two things that I want to share, and I might not be able to do those within 2 minutes. So I ask that you allow me to complete my report, and I appreciate that.
Maybe talk fast.
I'll talk as fast as I can. Happy New Year to everyone. I want to say that I really had 1 week of vacation that I thoroughly enjoyed. Nonetheless, I still had 10 related city meetings. One, I want to report that Maria Elena from CAB, Carbon from the Pajaro Valley CDC, Councilmember Francisco and I met with Robert Ratner, who's the Director of Housing for the County Human Services Department, and 3 of his colleagues also joined to discuss homelessness in Watsonville. We learned there are many resources the county can provide to Watsonville, such as substance abuse treatment, case management, mental health, peer support for the homeless, and other services. A week later, we met with Tamara and the then incoming Police Chief Jorge to share our learning. And Tamara and Chief Jorge will include this information in their continuing work with the county, and more information on homelessness will be coming to the council in the near future. I too met with Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, and I met with her actually yesterday virtually. I spoke to her about needing federal assistance in 3 areas. First, funding for the Army Corps of Engineers for our Pajaro River Flood Reduction Project. She said she has a good relationship with the Army Corps because of her work with lakes in the Silicon Valley, and she knows the impact that one of those lakes has on the Pajaro Valley. I asked for funding for permanent housing for homelessness. She said that she recently worked to support permanent housing in San Jose. Finally, I asked for funding for electrifying the city, particularly for providing retrofitting for residential housing. She said she'll have to do some research on that because she's not familiar with any city that does beyond electrifying in new developments. But she understood the need for free retrofitting for moderate and low income families. I mentioned to her that Watsonville's 80% Latino and many are farm workers. Of those farm workers, over 70% are undocumented. She stated that she co-authored a bill to give citizenship to farm workers, which passed in the House, but it is now stalled in the Senate. I did invite her to our Watsonville Film Festival and our Strawberry Festival. She loves strawberries. Last night, I received a phone call from Assembly Member Robert Rivas inviting me to a press conference with him and Congresswoman So and Salinas on Saturday, and I'm going to catch a ride with Jimmy to that press conference.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Garcia. No, I'm sorry, I gave you lots and lots of time. I'm going to move on, if we could, to
Unfortunate, Mayor. It's unfortunate, Mayor, that you're not allowing me to share with.
It's not unfortunate. You were the mayor, and I gave you tons of extra time. I can't do it for everybody, and I honored you with that. Thank you, Councilman Hurst.
Well, I'll keep it short. Welcome, Vanessa, and congratulations, Mayor Parker. You know, we are going to have a challenging year. We've had a lot of challenging years. You know, we've had earthquakes and fires and floods and all kinds of natural disasters and some man-made disasters too. I remember when the unemployment rate was pushing 20% there for a while. And so, you know, we have made progress, but we have a lot more progress to go. But it's going to be a real challenge searching for a city manager, a city clerk. All our quest for workforce housing, it goes on and on. You know, we've got a new challenge with the state over organic waste, and we're going to have to, you know, separate our, not just our vegetable peelings and if we have any, and our yard waste if we have any, but all our organics are going to have to be composted in some way, and that's going to take resources. You know, we're always looking for more jobs in the community and better safety, and certainly higher environmental quality as well. Lots of challenges facing us. one of the challenges coming up is transportation, and the RTC is meeting this Thursday. And, you know, when I look at the agenda, it looks pretty tame, although there's a lot to do with RTC, and there's certainly a lot of money at stake as well. But I continue to get these emails and phone calls and concerns about tearing up the railroad tracks and rail banking and not being able to utilize the rails in any substantial way. And so I am concerned about that. And I think other members of the Parole Valley ought to be concerned about the how it's going to be used as well. But I think Edgar said it pretty well when he talked about working together. And I remember when I first met him on an airplane coming back from the funeral of my mother's, and he introduced himself, and we had a conversation about working together. And so, hey, let's all try and work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Hurst. Councilman Montesino, or Mayor Pro Tem, excuse me, Montesino.
Good evening, everyone. I want to wish everyone a happy new year, 2022, and also we want to congratulate on a meeting our new police chief Zamora. I mean, it was a great honor to be there, watch him, and I shared a photo with my kids and my family, and they're really excited to have a new chief. One that they can relate, and that grew up here in Watsonville, grew up in local schools, and it just a fruition of our community. So lots of well wishes for him. He'll do great for our community. Also, welcome Vanessa. Thank you for running. Thank you. It's a great opportunity for you, for our community, to get to know you and to do great things for Watsonville. And want to remind Jimmy, as I think we were interviewed when we were running, I think it was local Santa Cruz, if you remember, Jimmy, and you said you predicted, what an awesome council to be for you, I, and Vanessa to be in the council, and you predicted it somehow. So just that's all my comments.
Thank you very much. Okay, just and pretty much everything's been said, except for a couple things, so I'll jump right into it. I agree. Thank you to the teachers in the classroom, the classified that are working with students all across this great city of ours and beyond. They're doing the best they can with all the high COVID rates, and they're honoring what we do is educate students. Thank you, and congratulations to Chief Zamora, a homegrown kid, and we're glad to have him on board. When I was really happy to hear what he said when it came to listening. This is one of the things he wants. He was just being positive about everything, our diversity, engagement. So got to tell you, I think we got the right person there. And welcome and congratulations, Vanessa Quiroz-Carter. I am glad to see District 2 is represented, and it's represented by a vote of the people. So letting the people vote is an amazing thing. And I agree with you about our democracy. I had a great conversation with our Assemblyman, Robert Rivas, and he is at the state level, of course, always out for advocacy for the city of Watsonville. I too, as well as Councilman Lowell Hurst and the rest of our council, is being invited as well to meeting with Zoe Lofgren and Robert Rivas this weekend. And so we'll all be there and discussing Watsonville, I guess, just letting them know what's going on. So the advocacy for Watsonville is pretty amazing, everyone. It is represented by all of our districts, and it's greatly appreciated. I will be at EA Hall on Thursday outdoors to celebrate their track, and it's been a long time, baby, and I think we're really excited by that. Last notes, we're going to work on our communication, because I hear a lot of the public saying absolute untruths. And I know people can say what they want when they address the public, but I think it's important for everyone in the city to understand how much this staff and your council is working for you and working for everyone. And that also includes our city attorney, our city clerk, and our interim city manager. And I thank you all for your comments. And we will move on to, well, this is the report out of closed session, but I think we did that previously.
Mayor, sorry to interrupt. Shouldn't Vanessa also get 2 minutes?
Oh my God, look what I did, Vanessa. First time out. Okay, so here it is. Call me on it. I'm new to this job too, Vanessa. So if you see something, and thank you very much, Councilman Estrada, for pointing that out, former mayor who went through a trial by fire and when he first came on board. So, Madam Quiroz Carter, if you would like to make your comments. Thank you, Councilwoman.
I'm just waiting for the timer. Thank you. I am very excited to get to work, and thank you for everyone who is in attendance tonight. I am so happy to see so many be civically engaged. Let's keep the momentum going. Thank you to staff for all that you do in making these meetings possible and keeping our community safe. Thank you to all my council members that work alongside me, that I'll be working with. I'm so excited to hear all the things for the community.
We're losing your sound a little bit.
Oh, it's these. I need to wear headphones next time. Yes, I'm so excited to get to work, and it sounds like we have a lot on our plate for 2022, and I'm really just excited to get to work. So thank you all.
Thank you. And I was doing it alphabetically. I was wondering where my head went because normally I would go last. So I am no longer the last one in the alphabet, Vanessa. Thank you. Okay, so we already did our report out of closed session. Do you want to do it again? Samantha Zettler?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor and council members. We had a closed session on the items on the agenda and no action was taken.
Okay, so our next part of the agenda is a mayor's proclamation for Robert P. Gomez. And I don't know if he has been upgraded to a participant, and I would like to read that proclamation when he is here. There he is. I've had the good fortune to know the Gomez family since the beginning of my teaching years, 30-something years ago. And I had his son, Guille, in class, or Guille had me in class. I don't know which one. We taught each other quite a bit. He had a dry sense of humor. Okay, so Bob, I'd like to read a little bit of the proclamation, and then you have a poem that you would like to read to us. And,
yes, I do.
Fabulous. And we are waiting to hear that. This is a bright spot tonight. Whereas Robert P. Gomez, also known as Bob, has been a Watsonville resident since 1984 and worked as a migrant and bilingual resource teacher with the PVSD for 26 years. And whereas Bob has a remarkable record of community service and social justice advocacy, having marched with Cesar Chavez in the 1970s, supported youth as a CASA volunteer, and served as chaperone for students visiting our sister city, Kawakamimura, in Japan. And whereas Bob is a singer, a musician, and has helped direct music for the Watsonville Buddhist Temple's Kokoro no Gako's cultural summer program, and continues to visit schools to sing and play guitar for the students, and I'll add for staff throughout the decades. Thank you. Bob was elected to serve as Watsonville's first ever poet laureate and will act as a resource for poetry and literary activities of the library. Do reading at ceremonial events, champion this art form both in person and on social media, and encourage appreciation and creative expression by residents of all ages and backgrounds. Whereas Bob is a part of Writers of Color, a group that was formed to sponsor and promote writers of color in Santa Cruz County. And Bob has a deep love for the spoken word, presented theatrically and dramatically, and in conveying sensitivity and thought about what is being said, why it is being said, and to whom it is being said. And whereas Bob is looking forward to the possibility of establishing a youth poet laureate program, as well as working with Poetry Out Loud, a national arts education program, and ultimately moving people through the power of poetry. Now, therefore, I, Ari Parker, and I'm just thrilled that I'm the mayor to be able to give this to you, of the city of Watsonville and the state of California, on behalf of the city council, hereby recognize Robert P. Gomez for being selected as Watsonville's 2022 to 2024 inaugural, it should say, poet laureate, and thank him for his willingness to represent the city and the art of poetry through various forms of outreach. Thank you, Bob Gomez.
Thank you, Mayor Parker, Ari.
It's all yours.
Okay, so how much time are you giving? Do I just get 2 minutes? Is this a 2-minute warning now?
No, you're special. You're more special than all of us. Read your
Okay.
poem and as it's supposed to be.
Okay, I will. I have this poem that I read. I wrote a number of years ago. It was published in El Andar, that local paper we used to have. Then I just want to know, do you want me to do an off-the-cuff translation on the fly?
I would like you to do whatever that you're comfortable with and that you would find joy in this moment.
All right. So first of all, thanks again. This is an unexpected honor. I did have a chance to go to the library board meeting in December when it was officially announced at the library board, and I had the chance to ask them the question, was I the only candidate? Just to clarify that there was more than one candidate, so I did have some competition, but I'm very glad to be the first poet laureate. It's a truly a great honor, and to be here with you, Mayor Parker, my old friend Lowell Hurst, Jimmy Dutra, who I've seen many times, Rebecca Garcia, who I probably have known since 1984 or 85. It's a joy. It's a joy to join in the spirit of Watsonville in a way that I never dreamed would be possible. So whoever had the idea to have a poet laureate for the city, that person needs some extra salary. I don't know what, but it's a great idea.
We'll work on that.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that communities like ourselves are starting to adopt poet laureates more and more. And again, thanks to the Writers of Color. I heard about this whole initiative through that group: Vivian Vargas, Victoria Bañales, Magdalena Montaigne, Adela Najarro, Claudia Ramirez, and especially Stan Rushworth, a mentor of mine. And now I have a new tribe of poets to feel comfortable with, to be amongst in Santa Cruz County, and to speak my truth and hear their truth. So Writers of Color, great group that's going. And a special thanks to Mas and Marsha Hashimoto and Katie Stonebloom, who wrote letters of recommendation for me. Old friends, teaching colleagues, Mas and Marsha and Katie, thank you so much. And now, the inaugural poem for the first poet laureate of Watsonville. I will read this, and then I have a special presentation as a surprise.
Oh.
This is called Welcome to Wastelandville. Welcome to Wastelandville, which is a sort of Hispanicization of English. Talking about Wastelandville, Aztlan being the treasure, the utopia of the Aztecs from which they came and which they hope to return after death, Wastelandville. So this is a poem about the imagination, about the Watsonville of the future, about the world of the future. Welcome to Wastelandville, donde el racismo no ruge en las calles. Los ojos azules se reflejan en los ojos cafés, se miran y se dicen, somos iguales. Wastelandville, where racism does not roar through the streets. Blue eyes are reflected in the brown eyes. They look at each other and they say, we are equals Welcome to Watsonville, donde el conquistador se ha conquistado y el vencido se ha vencido, y los dos se estrechan la mano y el uno saca al otro del río. Wastelandville, where the conqueror has conquered himself and the defeated has defeated himself, and the two stretch out their hands and one pulls the other from the river. Bienvenidos a Wastelandville, donde los cañones se han apagado y las luminarias se han prendido y un baile de jazz folclórico ha empezado con ritmos de rancheras y cumbias y rock and roll. Watsonville, where the cannons have fallen silent, the luminarias have been lit, and a jazz folkloric dance has begun with rhythms of rancheras and cumbias and rock and roll. Welcome to Watsonville, donde nadie habla inglés, ni nadie habla español. Sencillamente jugamos con palabras como se juega con un fútbol. Watsonville, where no one speaks English and no one speaks Spanish. Simply, we play with words as if it were a soccer ball. Bienvenidos a Watsonville, donde el mercado está abierto al aire del santo mar y las ramas del manzano se sostienen solas y el guerrero águila se viste de flores y la serpiente emplumada camina sobre las olas. Watsonville, where the market is open to the air of the holy, holy ocean, and the branches of the apple trees sustain themselves by themselves, and the warrior eagle is decked out in flowers, and the plumed serpent walks upon the waters. Welcome to Watsonville. Bienvenidos a la plaza de todas las culturas, donde la única raza es la raza humana. El único poder es el poder superarnos. La única pandilla es la de las abejas chicanas. Watsonville, welcome to the plaza of all cultures, where the only race is the human race. The only power is the power to become better. And the only gang is the gang of Chicana bees. Bienvenidos a Watsonville. La pesticida se ha suicidado aquí. Ya no nos matamos tampoco. El virus del amor ha infectado a todos. Y no hay que andar sprayando más odio. Watsonville. Pesticide has committed suicide here. We don't kill each other anymore either. The virus of love has infected all of us, and we don't need to go around spraying any more hate. Welcome to Watsonville. Aquí los hombres respetan a las mujeres, y las mujeres respetan a los hombres, y los hombres se respetan y las mujeres se respetan, y todos respetamos a la tierra que nos dio vida y la agonía del sexo. Watsonville, here the men respect the women, and women respect the men, and the men respect themselves, and women respect themselves, and we all respect the earth that gave us life and the agony of our separateness. I, Watsonville, ahora que te veo con los ojos abiertos, ahora que te imagino con esplendor y alas coloradas, ahora que te sueño como si estuviera despierto, empiezo con mi vida a formarte en mis pobres manos de barro. Watsonville. Now that I see you with my eyes open, now that I imagine you with splendor and shining red wings, now that I dream of you as if I were awake, I begin with my life to shape you in my poor hands of clay. Thank you. Gracias.
That's a beautiful vision.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Very good. Now, do you have any other comments that you would like to make?
I do have one more thing for you.
Oh, okay, great.
You could, if you'd like to hear a song, Denise is here and we could do a song for you.
You know what? I'm good for that.
Really? You sure?
Since I just started as mayor, I'm gonna say yes. We'll spend our time this way because I want to hear you guys again.
Okay, well,
And the public deserves to hear you.
I was ready for this just in case. You know how, poetry and song are just kind of the same thing to me. People know me as a singer. They see me in the grocery store. They say, Bob, where's the guitar? Right. So people are used to seeing me with the guitar. So I'm going to do a song that's very near and dear to my heart that I wrote for the Castro Adobe.
Oh.
And it really, it's a bilingual song. It'll just take a couple of minutes. And Denise and I, here she is, Denise Gomez, my dear wife, or as Don Brown put it so appealingly, my lovely bride. So this is about the Castro Adobe, where Denise and I are volunteers, great team of volunteers out at the Castro Adobe. And we hope all of you can visit it and enjoy it and support the effort that the volunteers are putting in there. It's a very, very special place. And to me, symbolizes the heart that is in our community. So
it's the first.
Yes.
It's the first state park.
That's right, first state park in Watsonville. This is called the heart of the community, el corazón de la comunidad. In Watsonville, where life is good, you'll find the Castro Adobe nestled in the western woods. A place for learning and unity. The Castro Adobe is the very heart of our community. The Castro is open for you and me, right here in the heart of the community. Come for a visit, and you will see the Castro Adobe is the very heart of our community. Nuestro jardín está en flor, una arboleda envolviéndonos con su calor, dándonos sombra, dándonos sol. Es un abrazo vivo y verde en su alrededor. El Castro Adobe abierto está como el corazón de la comunidad. En las afueras de la ciudad, el Castro Adobe es el corazón de la comunidad. In every room, the feeling's there. We feel a place that tells the story of a family's care. Mexican rancho, gold rush and more. It's California singing with us right inside the door. The Castro is open for you and me, right here in the heart of our community. Come
heart of a community. Castro Adobe abierto está como el corazón de la comunidad. En las afueras de la ciudad, el Castro Adobe es el corazón de la comunidad.
Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy.
Hey, thank you for bringing joy to our lives tonight. This is pretty awesome. I'm going to rename the city council meeting the Bob Gomez and Family Show.
I'll come anytime you want. Anytime
Hey,
you want.
don't say that because we're going to take you up on it.
All right. Well,
you are our poet laureate, and we
Well,
appreciate it.
it's a lot easier when it's just on Zoom. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't have to get in my car. Cool.
I
All right,
have
one
some
more
council
thing. Now,
members.
just take a
Go
minute.
ahead, go ahead, and then we have some council members who would like to say something to you.
Okay, here we go. And this is a surprise even for Denise. Watch this.
Even for Denise.
Can you see that?
Oh yes. Oh.
Do you know what that is? This came into my possession not too long ago.
Uh-huh.
I was Christmas shopping. It is called a mud head or a koshare. Koshare, a piece of pottery produced by Santa Clara Pueblo. The koshare symbolizes a storyteller. It is a storyteller seated on the ground. Can you see that?
Yes.
And it helps me. It reminds me of the importance of sharing our stories and listening to other people's stories, to share the joy of being together and to appreciate the fact that ultimately we're all made of clay and we all come from the earth. And this is a reminder to me also of our Native American brothers and sisters who still live among us, and we live upon the land that they cared for millennia, and they are still among us, and we still have things to learn from them. So one of the things I'll be doing as Poet Laureate is bringing more voices forward.
That's
Native
wonderful.
American voices,
That's
Portuguese
wonderful.
speakers, Croatian speakers, Tagalog speakers, Japanese speakers. I want to hear poetry and spoken word from all languages in Parole Valley. And I consider that to be part of my job.
Thank you, Bob.
This will go to the next Poet Laureate.
Okay, good. We'll have
Okay.
a continue. I love it. A tradition has started.
That's right.
Councilwoman Garcia wants to make a comment.
Okay.
Yes, as Bob said, he and I met when he first became the migrant resource teachers many, many years ago. And we had many, many conversations because as a teacher, I had migrant students in my classroom. And when I was a principal, I had a migrant program. And in all those years, I always heard him play his guitar and sing. I even heard him sing in Japanese. I had no idea you were a poet also. And so I want to congratulate you in being Watsonville's first Poet Laureate. And to answer your question about whose idea, it was Victoria's idea. She just said, I want this to happen. And I says, well, you're on the library commission, make it happen. So it did. So congratulations to you.
There we go. With any other, do we have anybody else who would like to? Lowell?
Sure,
Councilman
I'll take a
Hurst.
turn here because Bob and I, as he said, go back a really long way, and there's some great stories we could tell. Some of them we probably shouldn't tell, but they're wonderful stories of our wonderful exploits with administrators at Watsonville High and other schools. I actually knew Bob before he came to Watsonville High through his work with the Kawakami Sister City and EA Hall, and his work with my wife Wendy there at EA Hall. So congratulations, Bob. You bring joy and light to us. Thank you for your being an international ambassador for Watsonville. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any other comments? Jimmy?
Thank you. Congratulations, Bob. I love your plug about the Castro Adobe. I was there the other day. Well, I say the other day, but when you guys recently did the last tour of the updates and you were out in the garden playing, and I remember like getting away from my tour group so I can finish hearing that song that you just played because I wanted to hear the whole thing because I thought that was so cool that you were singing about where we came from and so I want to say thank you for all that you've done in our community. Thank you for being a part of the Castro Adobe, our state park, and continuing to be a voice. So thanks and congratulations. You deserve it.
Councilwoman Quiroz-Carter, you wanted to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Parker. I'd like to say congratulations first off, Bob. Thank you so much for gracing us with that beautiful poem that really warmed my heart. I heard you say that you studied under Stan Rushworth. Stan was a professor of mine at Cabrillo, and he's just such a source of light and wisdom. And I'd also like to say thank you to Victoria Banales for suggesting a poet laureate. This is a wonderful, wonderful gift to us for sharing Bob and for sharing having a poet laureate in Watsonville. There's been an explosion of arts and appreciation for the arts, and the literary arts are often forgotten. So thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else before we move on? Thank you very much, Bob. And yes, we will call upon you at a moment's notice. So be ready.
I'm ready.
Thank you very much. And my best to your very talented son and your very talented daughter as well.
Thanks so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, we're going to move on to reports to council. We have a Ramsey Park Renaissance 30% design update. So Community Services Director Nick Kalubiquib, Parks and Rec. Sorry, Nick. I get your name right. I get your title wrong. And you have someone else who's going to speak with you, or no?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Mayor Parker, and good evening to you and members of the City Council. I am joined this evening by Todd Young from Verde Design. Looks like he's getting his camera on right now and will help to load our presentation for this evening as well. We're excited to be here tonight to present to you and to the public our 30% designs for what we're now calling the Ramsey Renaissance Project, which really is the implementation of the majority of our Ramsey Park Master Plan. As you all know, and as our community knows well, Ramsey Park is the hub of recreation for the city of Watsonville and houses everything from Soccer Central to our one and only softball field, our large soccer field, along with many other amenities. Sorry, it looks like my computer is wigging out for a second. Can you all hear me still?
Yeah, you're a little bit quavery, but you're doing fine.
Okay, perfect. Hold on one second. Let me get oriented again here. Okay, sorry about that. As you also all know, through 2019, we worked on an extensive community engagement process, also with Verde Design, to create our park master plan for Ramsey Park. And the council adopted this plan back in February of 2020. And really through the hard work of many individuals, many of our council members, our previous city manager, Matt Huffaker, and our assembly member, Rivas, we've secured the resources needed to bring the majority of this master plan to life. As many of you know, we've received $7 million in allocated funds from the state of California with the help of Assembly Member Rivas's office. The council has helped to dedicate $7 million in ARPA funds from the city's ARPA allocation towards this project, along with $7 million from the general fund. The city and our department has also helped to garnish a number of other grant resources to help with this project, all totaling over $23 million worth of investment in this vital community resource at Ramsey Park. So where we are in the project currently is that we are in the middle of our design phase. And we're here tonight again to present our 30% plans for council and community feedback. And we'll come back to the council, and we'll have other opportunities for community feedback throughout this process. In a nutshell, we are hoping to get through the design phase of this project by the end of this calendar year, and hope to bid the project over the winter of this year into 23, with construction starting in 2023. And Todd will walk us through a more in-depth timeline shortly. So I'll turn it over to him now, and he will walk us through our 30% design plans.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm Todd Young with Verde, the landscape architect that's been working with the city and the design team. So we're going to walk you through a little bit about Ramsey Park, where we stand right now, and how we're fulfilling the premises that were already established during the community outreach phases. So here we go with our little presentation. Nick just did the introduction. We're going to talk about milestones, then we're going to talk a little bit about the historic nature of the park and where we start from on this project. The approved master plan that was provided through the community outreach process back in 2019. And then we did have a community workshop with some survey results. And then we'll talk a little bit about the project itself and some of the features of it, and then follow up with the next steps. So here's our schedule right now. We are at the council presentation. We've already been through a community workshop, the Parks and Rec Commission. And here we are today. We've also submitted a 30% set of drawings, which you're going to see a little glimpse of, or what the inspiration is for those drawings, without boring you with the details of construction documents. So the project itself in general is broken down into two areas, in yellow and in blue. And yellow is what the base project was. And then with the funding that the city was able to secure, we added in the other options, which are identified in blue. So our focus is really this Sotomayor soccer field. It is also the multi-use baseball field. We're going to be connecting the trail through the project, which is in addition to the Watsonville Slough Connector Trail project. We're going to be enhancing the new play area, which is going to be focusing on universal access and diversity. And we're going to be maintaining the existing areas that are there, such as the nice skate park that was built, and the new pump track and soccer central will all be preserved as is. And then also part of this is going to address, not as our project, but the fact is we're integrating these designs with the exploration center that's on the drawing boards. So here's the Watsonville Slough Connector Trail and what it focuses on. It's really the south portion of it, the parking lot, the access from Harkin Slough Road up to the existing softball field. We're also going to be talking about the Main Street area access, so that you have ADA accessibility to the family center, and also constructing some new basketball courts in that area. The Ramsey Park is now featured here in yellow. So that's really the infill in between those other areas, so that we have a complete project. So this Renaissance project is well named when we talk about how this is going to really refresh the entire space. And then lastly, here's the Exploration Center, which is another project separate from this. But as I said, we're integrating as best we can the plans for that into this, so that they become really one seamless park. I'm going to throw this over to Nick and see if he wants to talk a little bit about the Exploration Center, because it's really not our focus in this project, but it certainly is a focus of the city.
Thing. So our public works team is really taking the lead on the design and development of our new nature center, or our new, as we're calling it now, Exploration Center. Public Works has hired 196 architect firm to work on the concept design for the nature center, which includes a one-story, 2,500 square foot building with office space for teammates, a multi-purpose room, multiple demonstration and interpretive exhibits, including things such as rainwater catchments, drought-tolerant gardens, etc. Public Works will be coming back to the council by the end of the month with an extension of the contract with 196 to work on the full architectural and engineering design for the building itself. And if all goes to plan, the new Exploration Center will be relocated on the hilltop of Ramsey Park and will be ready for operation sometime in 2024. In preparation for that, along with coordinating the additional work that's happening in Ramsey Park as part of this overall project. The Nature Center, or the existing Nature Center, will be closing down and getting ready for demolition early this spring, approximately in April. And the Public Works team will be reaching out to solicit community input for programming that will take place at the new Nature Center. And once this design is a little bit more developed, the Public Works team will be back in front of the council to provide an update.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
All right, thank you both. Do we have any questions from the council?
We have a
Councilwoman-
little bit more
oh,
presentation if you
oh.
want to filter through it.
No,
if
go
it-
right ahead.
Okay. There we go. All those times I clicked the button, they all just ran together. Okay, so here we are at the Ramsey Park. This is just for orientation purposes. What we're talking about doing is expanding the existing Sotomayor soccer field so it can facilitate one large adult soccer field or two smaller fields, but also have the overlays for other sporting events as well. And in the process of expanding this, we're also going to level it a little bit more. So it's going to be meeting a higher level of standard of play. This will remain a natural turf field. The other field will be expanded from the softball to also include an overlay field, and this would be synthetic. So you would have many more hours of service and usability of this field itself, preserving the softball field in its location, but really expanding the whole footprint and reconfiguring this parking lot and making it more into a sustainable parking lot with stormwater management features, et cetera. Then the other real main features of this park that we're doing the expansion, really doing a great improvement, is a dog park area that'll facilitate large and small dogs. We'll get into some of that detail. And also the children's play area on top of the hill where there's already the existing play features, but expanding that and also invigorating it. So here's a little bit more about the Sotomayor soccer field. It'll have striping for youth. It'll have striping for football. It can have the adult soccer striping. And as I said, there's a natural turf. And on the right-hand side, you can see the existing condition where we're going to be expanding that out, keeping some of the trees at either edges as buffers and preserving as much as we can, but really making this the most usable space possible. Also on the south end, we're proposing to have hillside spectator seating. Here's the ball field, multi-use, soccer and softball. Once again, it'll have the ability to stripe it in multiple ways to get different kinds of users out there. Lacrosse, rugby, so it's not just limited to soccer. The outfield will be expanded to 300 feet, which it's currently not now. It's less than that, around 250. So that'll give you a little bit more playability out there in the field. And as I mentioned, this will be a synthetic field. The play areas are going to be broken down into little rooms, let's say. So we have a rival zone and then a 2 to 5 play zone for the younger kids. Sensory play is another area that will feature. Then a swing and sway zone, a spin and climbing zone, a play tower, and then also engaged at the far right side where we have a climbing slide zone, which we're engaging into the natural slope and hillside so that we're using the terrain as it is to really kind of activate and create the spaces. There's also picnic areas that can be broken into large or small group areas on both sides of the play zone. Some of those little rooms that we're talking about, 2 to 5 play areas, could have engaged slides that are on gentle slopes, allowing kids to walk and toddlers to experiment along those sloped edges, spring toys and spring riders and other mobilities. Sensory play will try and engage both nature with plants, where you can have fragrant plants and flowering plants, also with sound so that there would be musical instruments and toys that both adults and children can use. One of my big joys is going out to see the play areas and see the adults and the children playing together side by side, interacting, as well as kids socializing with other kids that they don't know on the musical instruments and learning different skills and communications. Swing and Sway is a lot of fun. And also, as we do look forward to this being a more all-inclusive, you can see this piece of equipment on the lower left-hand side. Kids of all different types and abilities can engage in that and use it all in the same way, which is what we're trying to encourage in this design, so that there's not segregation or separation between different users and their abilities, that everybody can, I can say, flop onto the same piece of equipment and enjoy it the same way. Also using different types of swings so that it could be used as an adult and a child on the same swing, not just adult or just a wheelchair swinging. So there's multiple modalities there. Spinning climbing zones, this is what we're talking about, is getting spinning actions and activities where you can climb and spin. Here's the typical climbing slides, but we also want to try and preserve the existing stainless steel slide that's been a history of part of the history of Ramsey Park. We've heard from the community and also Parks and Rec Commission and counselors that that's part of their history and something that they enjoy and have actually taken into their hearts as part of the Watsonville experience. And we want to try and either recreate it or reposition the existing one. Then there's the dog play area. So small dogs and large dogs separated, but with one group activity area where we enter in at the arrival and then separate into the dog sizes. The total square footage is about 1,500 square feet, 15,000 square feet. We're going to be using the natural topography of the hill so the dogs can run up and down and get a little more exercises, and the balls will roll around. But so we're not leveling this out. We're actually using the contours of the natural park. And just for a comparison, this Ramsey Park is just about 15,000, 16,000 square feet. Franich Park in Watsonville is about 18,000 square feet. We also have Chanticleer Park in Santa Cruz and Morgan Hills Community Park. They both have parks for dogs that are about 15,000 square feet. The one that's a little bit larger is in Aptos, where they have a very large park at 39,000. But we did this just to see if we were in the right ballpark or dog park, to make sure that we're sizing this appropriate, and we see how the other ones are functioning. And we feel like this is the sweet spot for the size of the park. We did do a community workshop and we got some surveys results. Online, we had 27 participants. We were very pleased to get 100 participants in the survey. So our outreach, electronically and giving people a little more time really benefited us and got us some more results. During the meeting, we were talking about what were the most important things to the group that were participating, and we did this little word cloud, and sensory and slide and spins end up being our top go-getters. Other questions we asked were about the sports field, who would be using it, and what age groups and what kind of sports. And undeniably, soccer came in the primary. And also we found out that the younger ages were the ones that most people were focused on supporting. And when it came to play, we were trying to identify what our priorities are in our hierarchy. And we were able to determine that the climbing and slide were the most important to the community from those that participated. And the second important thing was the tot area for the children 2 to 5. So we want to make sure that we honor those as we move forward with the design. So that gives us about a wrap up. So where we are now is this council presentation. From here, we're going to integrate any of your comments that you've got to share with us today and move forward producing a 65% construction document set. And as Nick had said earlier, the goal is to get final documents out in September of 2022 and start construction in spring of 2023. And at that, I'll see, Nick, do you have anything more to add? And I'll turn it over to the council.
Yeah, not much more to add other than that following our 30% design completion, we'll be moving on to 65%, which will also include another community engagement meeting and a presentation to the Parks and Recreation Commission. As we get towards finalized plans at 90%, we'll bring our documents back to the council again, along with the Parks and Recreation Commission for final approval before we wrap up our final construction package and put it out to bid. So if all goes to plan, we'll be back in front of the council with further designs sometime in hopefully July of this year. But other than that, I think we're open for questions.
Great, thank you, Nick. Council members? Councilman Hurst?
Thank you very much, Nick, and thanks for making the presentation available to everyone in the public and giving the public lots of opportunities to weigh in. When Mr. Young said the new facility was going to fit in with the terrain, I thought he said train. And that reminded me of the locomotive that used to be in Ramsey Park and how it had to be removed because it was a little too dangerous for little kids to drive on, to ride on, to climb on. So, you know, we've come a long way. We're really lucky to find so many resources, and we've waited a long time. And again, Nick, thanks for making sure the public has ample opportunities to weigh in on this. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Councilman Dutra.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick, and thank you to your whole team. I'm excited about the Ramsey Park project. When I go out into the public and I bring this up and we talk about it, so many people are excited about this. It's going to be offering a great opportunity for our youth and people of all ages to enjoy. I too remember, playing Pony League baseball there, where the all, I guess, purpose field is going to be. And so a lot of memories, and there's gonna be a lot of new memories for people to be enjoying. I guess one of my only comments would be, Nick, when you guys are working on the Nature Center, which I'm really excited about, I think just having this educational component to Ramsey Park is going to be great, is to maybe have some sort of media room in there. So when you do have, groups come or whatever, maybe there's a film that could be an educational piece that they can go in and sit and watch the film about, maybe the Watsonville wetlands, or watch history of Watsonville, or whatever it may be. Like if you go to the Smithsonian, they have this kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with that at all, or those kind of museums, but you can go in and, watch. I think the Watsonville Library, when you walk into the left, has a little room very similar. So I think maybe implementing something like that, so it could, continue, that it could add to the experience of those attending. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Dutra. Councilwoman Garcia.
Yes. First, I really appreciate the design that was presented to us. So thank you so much for that. I use the Nature Center for the wetlands trail walks and wondered, will those still continue?
I am not 100% sure what the answer is to that question, but can definitely follow up with our Public Works teammates and get back to you on that.
Yeah, because many of us take advantage, and that's the only way that we're able to do those trail walks is through the Nature Center. So I think it's very important that you consider to keep it.
Great. Yeah, I'm hearing from Christy from Public Works that yes, they've got plans to resume those.
There you go. Good.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Real quick, Todd, would you mind closing the presentation so that we can see all of our council members, please?
That's great, but I really wanted to point something out. So he's going to be on the
sorry.
ready. No, when I go back, but we have some other council members who want to say something. Councilman Estrada.
Thank you, Mayor. Nick, again, I thank you many times over and over. And thank you again for all the hard work you've been putting into renovating Ramsey Park. Renaissance, I think, is a perfect term that captures what I think we've all been trying to do. This really gem in our community. And I grew up playing soccer. If you would have asked me that survey question, I would have probably answered the same way. And it was always a very matter of pride to be able to play home games. We played on a traveling team, and we played some really excellent teams from San Jose, San Francisco, from the Monterey Bay area. And, we never in Watsonville, and it's always sort of a matter of pride for us that we made sure that, no team comes to Watsonville to beat us at soccer, because we're powerhouse here in that term. So I'm really glad that the community is still working to focus on youth and to help youth. And my question was, I think part of the issue too is sort of how we manage ourselves or how we manage some of the limited resources. And, even though we'll be doing a lot of work, we'll have that softball field, which is also a soccer field, and the two other fields. What else are we doing to sort of better manage our very limited resources? Sometimes we're hitting amongst ourselves for the very little space available in the community.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think one of the larger efforts that's happening kind of aside from the development of field spaces and additional field spaces, especially at Ramsey Park, is our ongoing partnership and conversation with the school district around joint use facilities. I think Mayor Parker mentioned earlier that this evening that, or maybe it was Mayor Dutra, or Councilmember Dutra, that the EA Hall field, the brand new field out there, is opening later this week.
We both
And
did.
you both did. Sorry. And one of the exciting developments in that conversation also is that the district has asked the city to help manage community use and rentals of that field. And so as conversations like that continue to develop, and we as the city, really kind of become the one-stop shop for use of the majority of our community fields, I think that in and of itself will help to facilitate kind of ease of access and use by our community for all of our soccer fields. So I think the more and more that we can kind of work together to maximize the resources that we have available to us, whether they're owned by the city or the school district, and make sure that those are open and available to the community to the best extent possible, I think the more successful we'll be. So I'm definitely hopeful with our developments, along with our continued partnership with PVUSD.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Nick. I appreciate all the work you've been doing on enriching our partnership with the school district. I know it's taken a lot, but thank you for that. And then my final question is just really about, I was hoping to learn a little bit more about the drainage at the main fields. I don't know, I believe we used to have an issue with the drainage. And if it got flooded, like that was it. People couldn't really access the park while we were waiting to sort of, and the other question would be about lights. Sometimes maybe in the phase 2 or phase 3 for that bigger field, just because I think the brilliance of the multi-field is that it already has lights, and as in your presentation, like you were mentioning, now we get longer use of it. People can, if it rains, it's okay. People can use the turf. If it's dark, it's okay. We have lights, right, to sort of keep it going. And so are there any plans to maybe do something like that for the 2 larger fields?
Yeah, I think you'll be happy to know that lights are definitely included in this project on the main soccer field as part of this project. So we're definitely looking at addressing that. The drainage issues on that field definitely continue to be an issue today, and our field is closed way more days throughout the year than they should be, and really ideally. And so the largest piece of the renovation project of that field is to address the grading issues, to make sure that the overall field drains faster and more efficiently than it does today. Todd can probably provide more details on the specifics of that than I can if you're interested. So I defer to him for more details on that.
Yeah, to highlight, the Sotomayor Field is going to have sports lighting in it, so it could be used at nighttime. So it would be equitable to what you see currently over at the softball field. And the softball field lighting will be renovated because we are expanding it and extending it out. So it's going to also include an expansion and relocation of some of those light fixtures. And regarding the drainage in the field, we are going to improve the slope of it so that the playability is improved. It will remain a natural turf field, so there is going to be some accommodation that's going to be necessary for seasonal weather. But we are also recommending that we do a subdrain system in the natural turf. So it'll be definitely improved over what you've been seeing in multiple ways, both the grading and in the drainage. And then when you do talk about drainage, I always go to stormwater management, water filtration, et cetera. So this project does address stormwater basins, little rain gardens throughout the project to pick up stormwater. And so it is on our radar, and it's one of our program elements as we're moving forward with the design.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you, Nick. Great answers. Just, I really love, especially, you know, you use the term equity, and I really, that's to hear that we'll do everything we can to really get the best use of our limited resources. So thank you both, and thank you, Nick. Those are my questions, Mayor.
Yes, they were great questions too. I wouldn't even, I was thinking that at least one of them would have lights, but I'm super happy to hear the amount of time that we're going to have on those fields. Eduardo Montesino, Councilman, dang it, Mayor Pro Tem Montesino.
Hello, Nick. Thank you, Todd and Nick. You're doing an awesome job. You know, shepherding this project along. But if can you guys put up the slide about the Sotomayor Field? Because I like the questions, great questions that Councilmember Estrada brought up. So you guys brought up that it's just sub-draining system, grading, and so is it going to be an adult field or a kids field?
Okay, can I add into that?
Yeah.
So in white, you can see the adult lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the yellow, you can see that there's 2 youth soccer fields.
Oh.
So it can be striped to accommodate both, but not at the same time.
Okay, so with all the improvements, can we? Is there a possibility to make it half artificial, like one of the fields, one of the kids' fields, and the other one natural field, so we can get more play out of it?
If you're talking about half synthetic and half natural,
yes.
If you did that, you wouldn't be able to do the overlay of the other field on top of it because you would have the difference between the 2 field materials and surfaces. So, and the reason why this was not chosen to be a synthetic field is because it is subject to inundation because it's at the edge of the slough. And so there's potential for water rise at the 100-year flood.
Already understand, but is there a possibility?
I don't see how we could manage to have this as a hybrid field between synthetic and natural.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty. Are you all completed, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, that's my,
okay.
that was my
Good.
question. Thank
Any
you.
other questions, comments? Okay, I just want to, since you have it up, could you go to the spinning ones?
Yes.
Because at this park and other parks at that time period of my life when I was playing, yeah, the spinning and this one and that one. Oh my gosh, what is that tall Christmas tree spinning thing?
So some of the people on this at this meeting went and did a little tour with us when we looked at some of the other comparable playgrounds that were all accessible. And we identified this as one of the features that is really a highlight. It could accommodate up to like 50 kids on it all at the same time. So you can be climbing on it and other kids can be spinning it. And so you can choose what area you want to be in, but it does have a governor on it, so it doesn't get too fast, but it does rotate. And so it's a lot of fun. So people can be up in it and on it and on the outside as the spinners is a traditional merry-go-round kind of event as well. So it's a lot of fun. It's a big focal point, draws a lot of kids, and it can also support a lot of kids at the same time.
I hope it can support a lot of adults, Todd, because, you know, that takes us back to when we were kids, didn't have the safety nets on it. We just had 4 bars and we just spin and spin as fast as you can. So there's some controls on safety nowadays, but boy, that's wonderful. And if you could go to the music ones, I just wanted to know how that worked. And then you had the interactive music. Yes, I am looking at this, and Nick and Todd, I am just thrilled about these sensory play areas because this is going to be great. I mean, I can just see kids and adults interacting, having a great time, being brought there because of it, making music. I'm just so happy. I do miss the train, like Lowell said, because that train was fun. I don't know why people think it was unsafe. We had a great time. We fell off it. We got back up. But today's world is a little different. But I want to thank you both. If there's no other questions or comments from council. Oh, Councilwoman Quiroz Carter.
Mayor Parker,
Having a hard time hearing you, Vanessa.
I was
There you
one
go.
that was in attendance when we toured some of the parks
Uh-huh.
to gather ideas for the Ramsey Renaissance. And I just wanted to assure you that the spinning Christmas tree can hold several adults.
Woo!
We play tested, so it is very safe.
Yay. Well, the council's going to have to go out there when it's all set up. And even if some of us aren't on council, we got to go enjoy this because it's going to be beautiful once it's all done. Thank you, Nick. And thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. All right. We have come to the end of our meeting. Do we have, no, we don't have any emergency items added to our agenda. Do we have any requests for future addenda items? Councilwoman Garcia?
Yes, as we heard from many members of the community, the issue of homelessness needs to be addressed by the council. So I want to request a study session on homelessness for the council. I want to know what our situation is and what the options do we have to address the seriousness of what we're experiencing now and possibly in the future.
Okay, and someone is noting that, is that correct? Is that B? Thank you. All right, are there any other requests for future agenda items? Okay, then once again, thank you to everyone who participated and welcome, congratulations, Vanessa Quiroz Carter and our new poet laureate. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Nice job, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.